Good morning, you beautiful people. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day today. Welcome to another episode of Building the Perfect Call of Duty, a series in which I take bits and pieces from every Call of Duty and spin them into my own perfect Call of Duty. Today we're talking about perks. Now, as I continually think about this, write stuff down, thinking about all the dynamics of the perks and the perk system, of course we figured out last time, there is so much here that I'm going to reserve the right to talk about individual perks in separate videos and kind of rehash this idea of the perk system when it comes into play later on. However, like everything we have mentioned here, we need a goal. We need a certain kind of final statement in order to build around with the perk system. So our goal for the perk system is going to be fairly simplistic and broad. I want my perks in the perfect Call of Duty to be perks. And by that I mean I don't want a perk that is necessary. Now when I say necessary perk, we all kind of understand, you know, blast suppressor, toughness, low profile. Those are the necessary perks. I don't want to have those in the game. However, if I were to say, oh, I just don't want to have any necessary perks, that is very biased because personally, for me, I really don't need sleight of hand all the time. However, if you ask maybe Beebs, maybe Onslaught, they love sleight of hand. They need sleight of hand. So for them, sleight of hand might be a necessary perk for them. They might need that perk. However, in terms of every player, they may not need that. So I want to be able to not have any perks equipped and still be successful in the game of Call of Duty. And at that same time, I want to equip every single perk and still not be overpowered or unbalanced by any means. So that is going to be our very broad terms and kind of playing field for the perk system. Now that broad definition automatically cuts out 2 or 3 perks that I have pretty much already discussed. Toughness will be given to everybody and it will not be a perk. There will be very little, if any, flinch in my perfect Call of Duty. I want to talk about it. I think it should be in the game, but how we put it in there is going to be a whole different topic. But flinch, very low, shouldn't be dependent on whether or not you have this perk that you're going to win the gunfight. Same thing with Blast Suppressor. Obviously, Blast Suppressor is the worst perk I think we've ever had in Call of Duty. You know, Commando, I guess, being there, one-man army, Danger Close as well. But in terms of the new age of Call of Duty, what I'm going to say, you know, post Modern Warfare 3, Blast Suppressor is the most idiotic perk I've ever seen in Call of Duty. And it is because it is a necessary perk. If you want to actually just play the game, then you have to use this perk, otherwise you're going to be seen on the minimap, which is a dead giveaway, especially in Advanced Warfare, but you guys see where I'm coming from. Danger Close. Why this is in Advanced Warfare, why it was in Ghost, why you know, it just makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me. It is incredibly overpowered. The only people who use this perk are going to be going for trolls. It's going to be completely dedicated into being annoying and incredibly unstrategical, so it's not going to be in my perfect Call of Duty. Low profile, Ghost, off the grid, Assassin, I believe will be in my perfect Call of Duty. However, and it will be the same functionality as it has been. However, with the SATCOM, as I said before, it is not going to be as necessary. I think the SATCOM is going to be the saving grace of this perk, and I definitely think that it should be in here. I think it's a good balance, especially with the SATCOM. Go check out my Building the Perfect Call of Duty SATCOM video if you want all of my thoughts on that, but that is where I stand. Now we get into the sound whoring type perks. I'm not entirely sure how I want to do this exactly yet. We are getting there. I know for a fact that I want a perk that silences my friendly footsteps to be in there. I'm not sure if I want to amplify the enemy footsteps. I'm not perfectly set on that yet. In Advanced Warfare I have a fix for it, but that involves exo abilities rather than perks. You know, exo abilities are different because they can be perk-like, however they're not exactly perks because they only last for so long. So as far as the default vanilla Call of Duty, I don't have that yet. However, I know I want there to be a very balanced way of doing it. So Dead Silence Amplify, I'm going to say for a different video. I'm going to say that's going to be pending for now, so forgive me there. Quick Draw, Stalker, they're going to be perks. There's just really no other way around it. I don't think having them as attachments is going to fit in. I don't think it's going to be suitable. We have the Call of Duty Ghost system where attachments are free. Quick Draw and Stalker are very, very game-changing. You know, I'm not going to say they're necessary quite yet. I do want to do a video on Ready Up, because that might be necessary on the whole dynamic of Quick Draw Ready Up. You know, when is it going to be a 50-50 gunfight? I want to do a separate video on that. But if they're going to be perks, they're going to be perks. They're not going to be attachments, because attachments should be cheap, free, and not so much game-changing, whereas the Stalker Quick Draw perks, if they are going to be perks, will be very game-changing. And honestly, the way I am building my perfect Call of Duty without danger close and explosives being super weak and super not powerful, I think one-man army might have a place in that perfect Call of Duty. I know, you know, burn me at the stake, right? But the idea of one-man army, the idea of, okay, I'm adjusting on the fly, let's do this, let's run this class setup, I think that is a great idea. Implementing it, obviously, is going to be another story altogether. You can implement this and have it be completely game-breaking like we've had in Modern Warfare 2. However, without danger close and noob tubes, I don't think it could be that bad. You know, what could be spammed right here? What could be spammed? Perhaps tactical equipment, which we discussed last week. Shouldn't it be too powerful, or a couple weeks ago? Shouldn't it be too powerful? I think we could implement it perfectly. You know, tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think One-Man Army has a place in Call of Duty anymore? Obviously, Commando, Juggernaut, and Stopping Power, definitely not going to be in there. Again, very necessary, very overpowered, not very balanced. Good ideas, but overall, that's old Call of Duty. We're not there anymore. Deadeye, on the other hand, I think Deadeye, especially with the Call of Duty Ghost system, was perfectly balanced. I think if you put Deadeye on a specialist class, and you had it, and you were on the streak anyway, you gave up your kill streaks to be on this streak, and you still had to rely on your gun skill, you still had to rely on your map knowledge, your mini-map skill, your sound whoring abilities. I think Deadeye has a place. I think it's very well implemented in Call of Duty as it is. Being such an expensive perk, you know, I may even bring it down to maybe a 4-point perk, just because you have to be on a kill streak in order to get the benefits from it, and you still have to be your own person, you be your own skilled Call of Duty player in order to reap the benefits of it. Back in Black Ops 1 and Modern Warfare 3, and more so Modern Warfare 2, we had one perk, Cold-Blooded, and Ghost, that really did everything in terms of the stealth build. It took you off the minimap, it protected you from kill streaks, it took the red name away from you, and we split that up in Modern Warfare 3 into Assassin and Blind Eye, and I think right there is the perfect balance. Blind Eye did your kind of more subtle stuff, you know, protect you from enemy controlled AI, took the name away from you, took the red box around you, protected you from thermal, or actually Assassin protected you from thermal vision, and, you know, took your blip off the minimap and all that sort of stuff. I think that right there is perfect. I think splitting it up into 3 perks like we have, Cold-Blooded, Hardwired, and Low Profile, I think that's a little bit too much. I think we can combine Cold-Blooded and Hardwired into that Blind Eye perk. I think that would be a perfectly fine balance, and I think it was perfectly fine in Modern Warfare 3 in terms of what the perk actually was. And in Call of Duty Ghost terms, this would mean putting Blind Eye and Incognito in the same perk. I think that would be perfectly fine. And that's basically it for all of the perks that I can think of right now. I definitely want to have Infinity Ward do the perk system, because with Recon, Strong Arm, On the Go, ICU, Wiretap is genius. I think that's a totally underrated perk. Ping, it's just they are so good at coming up with these new ideas. Recon was made in Modern Warfare 3 with one of the best perks I think ever. Gambler is so genius. You guys, I've said this millions of times. You know, I've said this on forums, I've said this in videos. Infinity Ward does perks very well. Of course, they've had those blemishes. We'll take those away, keep the good stuff, keep the meaty stuff in there. The cheap ones are super fun and super dynamic. I think that's all the perks that I have to talk about. Again, I'll do separate videos on maybe quick draw, ready up, and that sort of stuff, as well as the footsteps and everything in my perfect Call of Duty, which is going to be a very difficult one to do to please everybody, but I think we can do it. Thank you guys so much for watching. What aspect of Call of Duty do you want me to cover next week in the Building the Perfect Call of Duty? I have plenty of ideas. Let me hear yours. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until the next absolutely beautiful Call of Duty morning, I'll catch up with you guys later. And as always, have a great day.